Okay, I'm here with Tony Allen. Tony's a DJ and runs a PR agency. Is that right, Tony?
Yeah. So I've been a DJ for the best part of, well, over a decade now, really. Started on London circuit. Was fortunate to play on a Revolution night at the Space for Carl Cox in 2014, I think it was. So yeah, I've been places, seen faces, as the saying goes, and yeah. So I also run a PR agency.
You run the agency?
So it's about a year and a half now. It's coming up to. I've been freelancing in the industry for about half a decade, doing all sorts of stuff: PR, marketing, social media management, just learning the ropes, really.
And the agency's called?
It's Undertone Industry Services.
And you started with a blog before that?
Yeah, so it was one foot in the rave originally, which is cool. But I rebranded to Undertone about 2 years ago now. And yeah, the agency just kind of snowballed on from there, really.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're here to talk about your music library, and we were just having a chat before, and you were saying you mostly use a record box to prep your tracks, but you like playing with Tractor.
Yeah.
When you play out.
Yeah, so it depends. Honestly, it depends on the club setup. Some people can't facilitate Tractor, which is, a bit of annoyance at times. So yeah, I'm quite comfortable playing the CDJs, but if I have a choice, I think Tractor gives you a versatility that, CDJs can't really offer. So yeah, for me, record box is like super vital to organising my music, preparing my set. I'm just super anal about control when I'm playing. Like I like to be able to rely on the technology that I've got at hand to do, to make sure I can focus more on the mixer, on creating more engaging performances and stuff. So yeah, it's super vital to make sure that everything's prepped and it's as easy as possible for me.
So let's start at the beginning. So which record stores do you use to buy your tracks?
So I'm quite lucky in terms of promos. I get sent a lot of unreleased music.
Yeah.
I do go out and buy those releases if I really like them. I try and support artists as much as I can. Mainly buy from Beatport. I've got friends that work at Beatport, so if it was the right place to shop. But there are some smaller labels that only use Tracksource or Juno and other stores. So yeah, I do have a dig around from time to time, but most of the majority of my music comes from Beatport.
Listen, the promos that you get sent, do they have metadata, or do you have to put that in, or how does that?
Yeah, so. It depends on the agency it comes from, to be honest. I think there is an importance about the ISRC codes, which are International Standard Recorded Codes. Especially when you're sending out music to blogs and stuff and people are uploading things online, it's really important that you have that data for artists to claim their royalties and things. But I don't think there's enough emphasis on making sure it's there and available for people.
I mean, presumably when the producers are making the tracks, they're focused on the track, the output, and not the sort of boring.
For sure,
thing.
But the labels, I think that there needs to be some sort of due diligence between the labels and PR agencies to ensure that data is available when music's being sent out. In terms of metadata, again, it just depends on who's sending you music. Sometimes you get, this track V2.0 finished studio analog master, but like the file names are ridiculous. And yeah, it gets to a point where it's so monotonous trying to tidy it all up. But I think, again, places like Recordbox make that really easy with the structure of their user experience. It's really easy to fiddle with the metadata and its tagging and stuff. So
sounds like you probably would do the work to make sure that's all in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I tend to get into a habit of doing a quarterly metadata day where I'll just sit down, go through all my music in Recordbox, make sure all the genres are right, all of the metadata is right, artists are right, album, everything. I think I have severe metadata OCD. So I just like it all to look really uniform. And when it comes to manipulating things and preparing for a set, that stuff's key, If I want to go and look for an album from a said year on Defected from early 2000 stuff, it's just easy to have that data there. It's easy to skip around and find what you want. So. And
do you use the Recordbox key analysis and beat grids?
I do. Yeah, I find a lot of it. So I used to use mixed in key, but I'm not trained in music theory. So for me, it was all kind of forcing myself to understand something that it just didn't bode very well with me. I didn't really get it too much. I do a lot of playing by ear. I'm not musically trained, but I don't really feel like you have to be. If if it sounds right and feels right, you can do your job. So for me, Recordbox's ability to analyze tracks and make suggestions and have all of those tools available, it just makes things a lot easier for me. So people like myself who maybe don't understand that side of things granularly, you don't have to worry about it too much. You trust your ear, and it gives you that confidence that you can do that without going into a set and then thinking, oh, actually, it doesn't really sound very good, but now I'm here playing it. It's not. This isn't a place for this to be happening. So.
And do you like setting cue points before you go and play a set, or do you?
I do, yeah. It's some tracks that you get, they get sent out. You know, the cue points for me, the amount of tracks that I get that don't have the first beat on them, for example, or they've come back from a master and they've got bits of the track chopped off. Cue points are like super important, especially if you haven't got time to chop. You know, if you're playing, depends how you mix really. I like to short mix quite a lot, so I haven't got time to be setting cue points during tracks. If I go to cue up a track and it's like it starts with a clap, and I'm like,
yeah, right.
Trying to think about everything else that's going on at the same time, and you don't really have the time to get into the right frame of mind to just correct it on the fly. So I think having the availability of setting cue points in record box is fantastic. I do it in Tractor as well. To be honest with you, I tend to organise my music within record box, but I'll really prepare it meticulously in like an operational sense. I'll put everything into Tractor ready and have all my cue points built out in Tractor, because it's just, I find it a lot easier to pull around the tracks and snap to grids and stuff. So
do you have your entire library in both record box and Tractor?
I do. Yeah, I do. I like to just have everything flowing one into the other. Obviously, record box does write your metadata tags into the files, and then that carries across into Tractor, but I think Tractor's always the endpoint for me operationally, so I like to just make sure everything's done in there, and it's done. When it's done in there, I know it's done in Tractor, and when I use it in Tractor, it's going to be ready for me, as opposed to any little hiccups or snags that might pop up on, during sets and stuff. So
and when you play out with Tractor, what hardware are you normally using? You got a controller, or?
Yeah, so I like to use variation really. A lot of the native instrument stuff's really cool. I've used Pioneer controllers. It depends. Honestly, depends on the setup. I quite like to use timecode into Tractor and have the look and feel of decks and being able to use those whilst having the tech side of things and being able to see. I don't know what it is about Tractor. I love playing in an analog sense. Using timecode vinyls or timecode CDs and CDJs. But I need that. I need the digital touch to it, So for me, Tractor is it's really versatile. It's really digitally focused, and it just gives you a real in-depth display that you have to look in like 4 different places between CDJs and a mixer to get all of the information that you need. To just subconsciously process while you're playing. Whereas if you're playing by Tractor, you can operate manually all the things you need to do. You know where your hands need to go, and you can just focus on the screen and you can see everything you need to see rather than going. And you can't, when you're looking around so much, you can't really engage with the crowd. So for me, having
I feel you get that more from Tractor than from record.
Having Tractor set up and propped up nicely, I kind of put it above the mixer at crowd level, so you can. It's just seamless, you don't feel like you're having to do too much moving around. So for me, I think Tractor at a good height and working with the crowd, they kind of flow into each other nicely. So
nice. And what kind of music do you play?
House, techno. I like a lot of minimal, deep tech stuff. I love to throw in a curveball.